Hello, Internet. Welcome to
Hi.
Only Lovers Book Club, where us three besties and my zit get together to talk about a romance book. Romance this month, because sometimes we go rogue and we do whatever we want.
We haven't
And
done this in a long time though. Like we've been really good about it's all been romantic.
I
Yeah,
know. Yeah, you're
we're
right. But there's a
we're wrong.
sequel. There's a sequel coming up. Okay, but
Yes.
I don't want to get too far ahead. So I always forget to do this. So I'm Chris, and that's Andrea. She's an author. Check out the description for links to buy her super cool books, Westwood Monster Patrol, and her novella. No, no, A Christmas
My God.
Parranda.
You
Sorry.
forgot the name?
No.
You're
Okay.
on the cover. You're my model and you forgot the name.
I didn't
Been
forget
a
the
long week.
name. I just wasn't sure if it was. I was thinking a Navi. I don't know. I was flipping the Spanish around. I know it's a Christmas parranda, but in my mind, for a second there, it was like a Navidad parranda or something. Mira, qué sé yo. I knew it wasn't una parranda navideña. That's why I was like, wait, why am I thinking that it's that? Anyway, if you want to read some cool, super cute holiday hookup realness, then check out the link to that because it's pretty cute. And me and Tosh are on the cover. And Tashai has a few things floating around on the internet as well. I think Tashai.com, some stuff she's written for
Oh,
some magazine. No, it's like an online. Was that website?
I
Website?
don't even know. I haven't written anything in a long
Anyway,
time.
check
It's
it out.
okay.
Also,
I'm working on
she does
poetry.
like super cool, killer ad copywriting, and I love you both. I'm really proud of you guys. What do I have? I just have
Thanks,
this. I just have
Chris.
this book club. That's all I got, guys. So
Your future writing projects, bitch.
yeah, I'll put candy in my mouth.
And we're going to a haiku slam this Friday that we're both competing in.
We are.
Jigga, what?
We are. I'm going to.
Offended. I did not know about this.
Don't get mad. This is news to me too.
It is not news. It's just that Chris refuses to accept her fate and write the haikus.
I wrote haikus for a slam once, and I can't remember where that paper is, but I know I have them somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And then I didn't end up going to the slam, so they just kind of hang out.
Basically, this Friday
Still
is going to be
offended,
the
but
first.
okay.
This Friday is going to be the first Friday night that I don't work my second job in a really, really long time, and it just so happens that
Yay.
there's a little haiku slam happening at the bookstore where I had my book launch
Nice.
downtown here. And so at first I was just like, Chris and Amanda, let's go to the haiku slam. And then I was like, you know what? Fuck this. I haven't had a night out in a long time. I'm going to write some haikus.
Oh shit! We about to turn up with some
Oh, shit.
haikus. Some of them are really
So
good too.
my plan is to, once I have them written or like once I have some written, I'll send you guys a Google Doc and you can read them and be like, these suck, eliminate these, or like these are good,
They're
keep
really
these.
good. I've heard a few, and I'm like, damn. That's why I don't even want to. I didn't want to start. They're not. They're not good. Mine are not good in
Oh.
comparison. Mine are all about like sadness and depression and being sad and gay, and Andrea's are like racism, la colonia, global warming. I'm like, holy, why would I even bother talking about my stupid shit?
I mean, you can talk about racism and then end it with like, y pa'l
Yeah,
carajo con el blanco,
Yeah, you
que me
gotta
hizo
have
esto.
a little bit of everything.
I guess, but none of the gringos at the poetry slam are gonna know what the fuck I'm
Oh,
saying. They're gonna like disqualify me by default. Like, it's not in our native language, so we can't
yeah.
understand you. And we can't vote for you.
I'm working on a poem that is, it starts off with like my chiropractor telling me my back is crooked, and then I think back to like the time I fell down the stairs. Like, it's
I want to read that
I
poem.
know. What? Where is that at? Where you taking that away?
in my Google Docs. I'm still working on it.
Okay, okay, okay.
Let's see.
Anyway, so this
You
month,
know, this month I picked this book that I was really pumped to read.
you got to say the
because
name because we're on a
Red,
podcast
White,
now.
Red, White. Oh yeah, I forgot. It's called Red, White, and Royal Blue, and it was much hyped about on the internet. Maybe too hyped because I got really excited. No, it was really cute. I just, you know what? I don't even know. Maybe it wasn't the book's fault at all, and I'm just like, I'm currently in a slightly more depressive state of mind than I usually am, and so maybe this just like was too sugary, or you know what? It was too sugary and at the same time too depressingly political, and I think it was like a bad scene.
Wrong place, wrong time for this book in your life, Drea.
You know what? I think I just picked it up at the wrong time, but I made it through and I finished it.
Yeah.
Before book club. So
yeah.
Do you want me to read what it's about?
Sure, but before you do,
damn, I gotta start reading more books.
So Tosh is, for those of if you're just listening to this, should check out at least the first few minutes of the YouTube video, and if you're there, like and subscribe. Tashai made her red, white, and blue eyeshadow magic. Drea is wearing our nation's colors on her American Red Cross shirt. I would say also primary colors, but it's the American Red Cross shirt, and I'm wearing a cute little gay crown, but it's also a little kid's birthday crown with a bunch of little flower things, and that's. I'm just saying, guys. 2 out of 2. I'm unstoppable this year.
You know what? The buttons on Henry's whatever you call the red thing he's wearing.
Yeah.
The buttons are yellow. So red, white, royal blue, and yellow. My shirt has.
Pues lo sacaste. You got it.
You got it. You win. You win the contest. You win nothing. So read the description.
Thing. Okay. It says, when his mother became president of the United States, Alex Claremont Diaz was promptly cast as the American equivalent of a young royal. Handsome, charismatic, genius, his image is pure millennial marketing gold for the White House. There's only one problem. Alex has beef with an actual prince, Henry, across the pond. And when the tabloids... he does actually have beef.
Penis!
And when the tabloids get hold of a photo involving an Alex-Henry altercation, U.S.-British relations take a turn for the worse. Heads of family and state and other handlers devise a plan for damage control, stage a truce between the two rivals. What at first begins as a fake Instagrammable friendship grows deeper and more dangerous than either Alex or Henry could have imagined. Soon Alex finds himself hurtling into a secret romance with a surprisingly unstuffy Henry. I hadn't actually read the description. Mm-hmm. That could derail the presidential campaign and upend two nations. It raises the question, can love save the world after all? Where do we find the courage and the power to be the people we are meant to be? And how can we learn to let our true colors shine through?
Yeah, I read that.
Also, I went to Goodreads to find the description just to like remember what this was about, and I ended up adding like 5 more books in my to-read pile.
Cool. You're good. Don't
fine.
pressure yourself. Just go with it. It's a process.
No, I'm good. My goal for this year is to not borrow any more library books unless they're only lover specific.
Okay.
Or buy any more books.
Oh, and read the ones you have at home.
The books in my fucking bookshelf.
Tome topple.
I wanted to organize it, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take out all the books I've read so that I can donate or sell them. And it was like 6 books. Like, it was not. I'm like, I'm gonna go through all of them. I'm gonna clean this out. 1. I forgot I had this book. 1. I'm like, okay.
You actually read it first, Tosh. What?
I did.
What did you think? Did you need a reminder? You remember more or less what happened?
No, I remember what happened. Upon retrospect, I actually adjusted my rating to 4 stars instead of 5 stars. Just thinking about how some parts really just kind of drag on longer than they need to. But I liked it. I thought it was really cute. I read this while I was visiting my family over Christmas, and there was like electricity would go out a lot, and like it was raining the entire time. So I had 2 weeks of it just being rainy, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna read a bunch of books. So I got through mostly all of the Only Lovers.
Yeah, you blazed through Q1, bitch. You even read the next book that we're supposed to be reading.
I know. Fuck. And, but yeah, so I got through. I'm sorry.
Sorry,
I
Indy.
got through it
God.
pretty quickly. I think it really only took me like a week because it's pretty fast. It's a really fast read. But yeah, I thought it was really cute. I definitely knew there was going to be like sexual tension as I got started with it because you could tell right away that the president's son was like just super into this British dude. And you could tell right away the British dude was super gay, so I knew it was going to go down. I thought it was interesting how they framed it as like a realization of bisexuality. In the president's son, he's like, I've dated women before, but I think I want to make out with him. What does that mean? Like, that was funny. I did think that I don't know. I think that it was like a really big deal for him. And if like, this is like 2019, right? No, 2016. I'm like, everyone's bisexual by now. Like 72% of the population at this point, like, swings in general varying directions. But I guess because he's the president's son, it was supposed to be just a lot more taboo. Mm-hmm. And I also thought it was interesting that, like, his sister and all the other side characters somehow were all also gay. Like, everyone was just into everyone else, is how I was reading the story. But it was fun. Kind of depressing because it postulates an alternate reality where the political climate is a little different. Because, internet, for whoever doesn't know this, the plot of this book is that we get our first female president.
So I actually read, I don't know if it was an interview or just something the author posted, but at like they were working on the book, you know, loosely thinking
Hillary would win.
Yeah, like Hillary in their head. And then all the stuff went down with like the email servers and stuff. And so the author was like, oh shit, I can't write this book, like blah, blah, blah. And then obviously it didn't go that, you know, Hillary didn't win anyways. And all. So like for a while, I guess like the book got paused because they were like, like, what is life? You know, do I even?
Yeah.
And they ended up writing it anyway as just sort of a like, I don't know. But
yeah. Because there's some commentary in there of like, haha, who would ever do this to the American people? And it's obviously stuff that has happened and has been terrible for citizens and people, you know, everywhere. It's like every policy that ever existed has been shit on. And in the book, it kind of comes up every now and then. They'll mention something, and it's like, well, who would ever do this? And you can tell it's kind of a wink.
It's basically set up as like, this is real, like, America. So this, like,
yeah,
it's postulated as like his mom was the president right after Obama. Mm-hmm. It's kind of how it's set up. So it's like fake, but also super real in terms of like the kinds of politics that they're constantly talking about.
Yeah, and I thought the politics were. I thought it was. I've never read a political.
Because this is perfect. Because this is one of my questions, actually. Since we're talking about the politics, which was one of my big things, is like they say in the book all the time, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you elected me as like your first woman president, even though I have like 2 half Hispanic kids and like now I have a gay kid or whatever. But they say it as if it's like totally normal that the world like swings like this now. But like, do you think like in 2020 the United States would ever elect a woman who had like
Mexican children,
or who had gay children, or who was a woman? Like, do you think we're there yet as a country?
Like, I'm Bernie and Warren, like, all the way. Either one of them, I'd be like, all right, cool. Like, this is better. Do I think that America agrees with that perspective? No.
No, I don't think
Not
so.
at
And
all. I watched a video of some lady, like, voting for Buttigieg at some point for some shit, and then finding out he was gay. And then she was like, what? What? And then she was trying to figure out how she could take her vote back, like who she could talk to undo her vote.
nah, we're
Because she,
definitely not there yet. I don't think we're there
yeah,
yet.
man.
And that's
Like
what,
society as a whole, like, is a lot more open, but I think that the people who manage the machine and the people who manipulate the masses that live in key states are very much still trying to maintain a status quo. And I think keeping people within these key states in like a place of ignorance and not fully like supporting them and educating them and really having open conversations about anything keeps them in a place where they can be manipulated by the government gatekeepers who are trying to push this religious agenda as an excuse to like control things and keep their pockets full. Like I think if the government, como te digo, I think if the goal was to make sure everyone was educated at the same like at a higher level, making sure everyone was having conversations and was aware of what exactly everything means, people's opinions would be different.
I think that's one of the things that like threw me off about the book a little is like I could never tell if the author wanted me to like suspend disbelief and be like, yes, this is the fairy tale America we live in now where like all of this is possible or what, because they made all of the other stuff so realistic that I just couldn't like, I kept thinking like, how are you going to tell me that like these states are red and like this is still a fact that these states are all red, but also somehow you got elected with all, you know what I mean? Like it, like they tried so hard to make everything so realistic and the kinds of questions that would come up from like the opposing side and the kind of attacks that would come from the opposing side all seemed so realistic that I just couldn't quite believe that in the end, you know, this woman was ever elected, period.
yeah.
Not to mention, you know, running again and all of that. So it was a little hard for me, I think, to just sink into the political world of the book.
Yeah, that was one of the things that I was thinking about the most of like, I think this being escapist, you know, all
Mm-hmm.
romance, I guess, in a sense, has that level of like all fiction, right? But romance in particular has this like, you know, you just dive into this like story of these two people or, you know, these peoples and you just go with it. You like escape and their love or their relationship or whatever they're going through means more than whatever else is happening in the world. But because it was politics, whatever was happening with the world was like way too close to what was happening with these people. So I think that maybe I prefer my politics in like a fantasy setting, you know, like to give it to me, like give me the same fucking story, but have it be like on a different planet with fucking aliens. And I'm like, I'm all there. I'm like, oh my God, this is freaking crazy. These gay aliens. Oh my God. But because like I couldn't escape. It was way too
Yeah.
close it was way too close. And I would also say too soon. Like I know that like we didn't get it. We didn't get the woman president. And so this reading this kind of hurt me. I'm like, oh, we could have had this. And instead of me being like, yay, I was like, oh, I was sad.
Stop, Richard.
Yeah. And in the this world of for example, the emails, right? So there's like, I guess I wasn't in on, I didn't know the preamble. We said we were going to read this book, so I went ahead and read it. As they were talking via email and using the, and using the server, right? I'm like, oh my God. Like, I'm straight up, I'm like, I was triggered. I'm like, no, they're going to catch you. The emails, but the emails, but the emails.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept thinking that. And then it was like, what? You wouldn't get in trouble because of that. And I'm like, wait, is this on purpose? And I also
Mm-hmm.
couldn't figure out, like, are we being funny? And it flashed me too hard to the email scandal for me to be like, oh, this is funny. And then there were actually like, I don't want to say there weren't any consequences, but the fact that everything ended in a happily ever after, while I was happy and relieved because they're political figures, I just couldn't care because like their stakes and what they go through like affects, the little people. So I am like, I'm diving in like chest first into like Peter and John the peasant's love story, but like the prince and the president's son love story, I was like, I don't care about these people. Like I was like, this is cute and like super vanilla and like it's cute, but I can't get fully on board. I can't escape into this because
Yeah.
this is bullshit.
Well, that,
Because
that
real world is garbage. Because what's actually happening sucks. And they're like winking at the audience like, haha, see, it shouldn't have been a big deal. But the fact of the matter is
It was.
they turned it into a big deal. Everyone got shafted. This all turned into garbage. And like, yes, this is a fantasy world of what we could have had.
It's not fantasy enough, and it's not
But
real
it
enough.
obviously isn't what we would have had anyway.
Also, it's too
because
long.
everything we've seen points to the fact that it's all gaga.
That being said, I really like this book.
So, Chris, you
It
were
just hurt.
talking. You were saying like their relationship was like cute, but like vanilla. And so, actually, that was like one of my questions was like just focusing on their relationship. Like, forget about all the other stuff we've been talking about. Like, on a scale of like 1 to 5, how would you rate both like the romance and also like sexiness?
Okay. So what's my 5 is like, whoa,
Yeah,
okay.
5.
5 is the highest. So for romance, I definitely would give this it's weird. I would give it like a 4 because the romance moved very quickly, but the book was too long.
I
I
understand.
was like, enough. And as for
Mm-hmm.
the sex, I would give it a 2. And I think it's because, and I'm not saying like, okay, I know that like we all know here like who's in it for the smut, and it's me. But I'm also okay with a little like fade to black. It's fine, you know. I don't know. I just was like, it wasn't like it didn't turn me on. The way that those sex scenes were written were like, eh. And also, I felt like I couldn't get into it because I felt like they were both like old, but acted very not old. They're older, but they acted very young and like immature.
They're in their 20s.
No, I know, but like.
And they act like they're 15.
Yeah, okay, good. I was like, wait, hold on. Like, I felt like they were like acting like high schoolers, but they were actually like grown ass people. And then,
See, that actually, I actually didn't. Maybe it's because I hang out with a lot of people who are like 20, 21, like at my second job right now, literally almost all my coworkers are that age. But like, that is literally how people in their early 20s act.
no,
though.
I'm not saying it's not realistic. I'm just saying I can't be around that shit. Like, so
I know.
I can't be around it.
It's really, listen, it's so annoying. The other day, I have a coworker. I swear to God, this happened. I have a coworker who's 20, and she got called out by the boss because her boyfriend came to visit her at the grocery store, and they were just like chatting, just like standing in the middle of produce. Like she's like putting apples in the thing at a 1 apple per 3 minutes, and chatting with her boyfriend. And then she got like called out on it, but like super nicely by the supervisor in private, was just like, hey, like they let us know, just make sure you don't do this, blah, blah, blah. She threw a hissy fit and she like left and like wouldn't talk to him And the guy turns to me. He's in his 30s too. He's like,
The fuck?
"This is why I'm never having kids." And I was like, "Oh my God, I know." Like, but like,
Ese fue el manager. The like manager dude said, "This is why I'm never having kids."
yeah. Well, he's not
Because
like the
my
boss.
response would have been, "You're fired."
No.
But it's because he's not like the boss. He's just like the shift supervisor. So he kind of wants to be like people's friend.
No,
But
no
oh no, in
importa,
my
you're
head, I was,
fired.
que me falten el respeto así.
You're
Oh
wasting
my
company
goodness.
time, and you disrespected me. You're fired.
So
Put down the
yeah.
apples. You can go. No, you and your boyfriend can go. No, no, you can
Anyway,
go.
just to reiterate, Andrea,
Okay,
I thought
so
the
4 and
romance
2.
was super romancy, but I didn't like love their sexy times. I wasn't into it. I was happy it was happening, but I was like, okay, like let's move on. Because the emails. Because the emails. Everything else is too distracting. Okay, come on, Tess. I'm sorry.
I just feel like there was a lot of mutual masturbation for a really long time. Like, I get the first, like, 1 or 2 times. Like, I'm not really sure I'm super gay. I don't know how I feel about dick. But they were, like, so hot and heavy when they're making out and, like, grinding on each other. And then it's like, yeah. And then they just kind of jerk each other off. And after a while, by like the 7th time of them just kind of jerking each other off, I'm like,
Okay, but like, are you gonna suck my dick or what?
I know. I, as a very gay British prince, would have been like,
Wanna return the
look,
favor?
this is like fun. I'm having a good time. Like, you're really funny. I enjoy what we're doing, but also, this is what I've been doing for like a while now to myself. And like, you doing it is nice because then I can multitask, but also, if you're not into it, let me know. Because like, I got my phone right here and I can like swipe and there's other people.
I thought maybe it was just that like Alex was feeling like super like nervous and insecure and whatever, which would have been totally fine. But he doesn't really say that. And then when they do start having sex, it's just kind of like, bueno,
Now we're having
you want
sex.
to do it today?
Yeah.
Okay. And then they just like do it. So like, if that was what they were trying to convey and that like he wanted to take it slow because it was his first time, then it didn't really come across because he just went from like not doing it for a long time to just, okay, cool. It's like I've been doing this my whole life and there was no learning curve and no
Well,
like any.
though they do make it a point, they do joke about. I forget what the fucking guy's name is. Sorry. Like,
Henry.
Andrew?
That was funny.
what's the American's name?
Alex.
Alex.
White boy name.
Sorry. They're all just white boy names to me.
I know.
Alex.
Alejandro Diaz.
Oh right, of course. I forgot. You know.
Don't worry, that's
Ay, por favor. He's the like whitest.
Okay, wait, don't jump ahead. Shit, I forgot what I was saying because you guys said Alejandro and I was like, oh what?
Está bien, pues entonces we're gonna go with the Alejandro
No,
and my other
espérate.
question.
No,
which
I remember now. I don't remember. I'm just buying time. Give me a second.
You were talking about the sex and like it went from nothing.
Oh,
to,
but
like,
then they make it like they do make a little bit of a hee hee joke when Alex really like super sucks at giving a blowjob.
Oh,
And then he's like, did you like
funny.
it? And he was like, it was a good effort. And and then they like,
I appreciated
I
that
appreciate-
because that was a very gay answer.
yeah, he was like, you tried. And then he's like, hey. And then he's like, the next time they did it, he was like, better, huh? And he was like, way better, yeah. You know, like there was a kind of like a rise to it.
Yeah, but they didn't do that for the sex though. Like there was never any sort of like.
No. What happens always is that they start going steady, and then the sex gets boring. That's what happens when your book is too long.
No,
gotta
I
know
mean,
where to go.
I do. I remember that, and I remember laughing a lot because I was like, okay, eso te lo creo. Like, I believe that
Yeah, I believe
conversation.
that.
Of,
Being
like,
like,
how was it? And it's like,
it's okay. I don't want to hurt you. So just pass him on the cheek.
I've got some notes. I'll text you later.
You
I'm
better
gonna go
not. Oh my
now.
God.
Bye.
You better just let me learn on my own, because if you text me with notes, I'm gonna die and then we're never speaking again.
I have a diagram. I drew it in different colored
So
markers to help.
going back to
The shaft.
the essay,
You don't have to sound annoyed. You asked the question, but okay, go on.
I'm asking the question.
Okay, okay, okay.
Um, no, I just wanted to know what you guys thought of the fact that he was like half Mexican, because I feel like they bring it up a lot in the book that, oh, like, oh, I'm half Mexican. Oh my God, this is such a big deal. I'm half Mexican. But I personally would forget he was half Mexican until they like explicitly mentioned it. You know what I mean? Like if you hadn't told me, like if he hadn't said I am half Mexican, I wouldn't have known it just from reading. Um, so I don't know. I just want to know what you if you thought it was like good representation, if it was just kind of thrown in there to make the book more diverse, or like
Uh, okay, I'll ask a follow up. If you were to take out the fact that Alex was Mexican from the plot, what would change?
nothing.
So then,
He just really likes Mexican food, you guys.
look, I feel like I run into this. I
Or
feel like
pizza.
I want to be fair because
I feel like the Rafael character seemed a lot more genuinely Latino, if that makes sense. Like
yeah, I guess
like
where
just in like his attitudes or like how he spoke or like I believe that his character was Hispanic. I did not believe that Alex's character was Hispanic.
well, I mean, he was mostly okay. Okay, let's take a step back because I want to like maybe talk about it a little bit because I was thinking about it too. So when we were reading the proposal, remember that we had a real big like we had an issue with like, okay, so I guess I'm Hispanic, so all I want to eat is tacos. Okay, fine, you know. And then when we read Flashed, and then we like she was cooking with adobo and whatever, we thought that was cool, right? But like for some people, that's like basically the same shit. That's like okay, like where's the happy medium? Where's the line between okay, I'm an authentic Hispanic American, like I live in America, but I'm also Hispanic. How what does that look as opposed to like the three of us who are originally from Puerto Rico and just happen to live in America and can see the
But I
difference.
think I think the
Who
difference
happens to
was
know?
that in Flash, um, it's not just like one random comment every like 50 pages. It's like this is the music I listen to. This is the food I like to eat. This is the language that I speak in when I speak to my sister. And also, oh, hey, the author writing me is Hispanic too.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I didn't get a real sense. Like, I would also forget that and I just figured he's just one of these, and there's nothing wrong with it, of course. He's
Yeah.
just más gringo que nada. It's nothing against him. He's just lives in America. And so he is
It just
Yeah, no,
American
it's not,
through
I'm
and
not
through.
saying, yeah,
it
it's just one of those things where like I don't know what it added to the book other than being able to make the presidential family like
More
more
diverse,
diverse.
yeah. And I hate that I'm gonna say this, but it was like I hate it. I hate it because I thought it when I was reading it and I'm like, oh my God, you know? But I thought the same thing. I asked myself the question that I asked you, like if I were to remove that he's half Hispanic, half Latino from the equation, what really changes? You know, aside from like whatever his father, whatever, you know, let's take all of that out. What changes? Nothing. Nothing really. So why is it there? Is this too busy? is this is this what people are talking about when we're just adding like shit just to add shit? Like why? So
I
I
think
yeah.
okay, I think that what ends up making this believable I'm annoyed by it as well. But what ends up making it kind of believable to me is that when you watch political people trying to participate in politics in America, they will highlight the thing that differentiates them and makes them more like the people.
The DNA results.
So, yeah, exactly.
Oh,
So
God.
when you have presidential candidates who will speak Spanish in certain states because it has a higher Hispanic demographic or a larger Latino community, they are using their like heritage as a
Pandering.
way to like I'm relating to you. So I feel like the characters in the book are written like political figures who use their heritage to relate to a larger audience.
So who is pandering here? Is it the author or is it the politicians in the book?
I don't know specifically, but the way Alex discusses his heritage is that of a guy who's preparing to be in politics and knows that it's a token he can use to his advantage when he's discussing and participating in politics. Like the way he talks of like, oh, my heritage, whatever, I'm Hispanic, whatever, is like someone who's participating in a debate. As someone who has Hispanic blood, as someone who's part of the Latino community, I experience America this way. Like, I feel like the dialogue is very political, the way that it is used.
Yeah.
Because his character is someone who wants to be in politics. Like, he wants to be involved 100%. And so he's learned how this part of his identity is part of his political identity too.
And I can give that to a fictional character. What maybe I can't give it to I can't give it to the author because it's the same principle. It's like, well, okay, well, I mean, I want this to be. And here's the thing, like it goes back to the whole I can't escape what's really real when people are being like detained, when people are getting sent to like concentration camps. But, you know, I'm just going to throw this in here because it's going to sound more like, what was the reason? My sister's going to know that Cardi B reference, but, you know.
What was the reason?
What was the reason? You know.
What was the reason?
Exactly. Drea has no idea, but just.
Nope, no idea.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, what purpose does it serve? Is it just like diversity for diversity's sake? Because I don't appreciate that. But also, I guess, how should I react to something like that? Okay, thanks. You know, I mean, I'm happy that the book is diverse. I'm not saying that there's like a limit to your diversity, but also like, again, I don't see what it added, or what happens if you take it away, whatever.
Yeah.
I was a little touchy about it, and I still like the book, don't get me wrong. It's the thing about you can be critical of things that you really like, and I'm always like super touchy about that shit. So, thanks for asking.
Well, on a lighter note, there were a lot of like secondary characters in this book.
Oh, let's talk about the guards. Oh, not the guards, the bodyguards.
Who was your favorite secondary character out of all of them? And by secondary, I literally mean anyone who is not Alex or Henry.
I really like their security people.
I did too.
And I liked Prince Henry's like crazy rich friend. Who?
The one who ends up being like into the dude's sister.
Yeah, I felt like he was a real red herring, like a plot red herring. Like, oh, he's gonna do something and like be really. But I was glad that never happened. Like, he was just like a really rich, like crazy ass friend. So I was really happy about that. Yeah,
I kept imagining him as Tan France. I don't know why. I just pictured him with like silver hair, just like, hey guy. No, I liked him. I liked him a lot too, and I liked the. So I was confused for a long time between the sister and the other girl who was like, I guess the vice president's.
Yeah,
who the fuck was she?
Yeah, she was the vice president's daughter, and they were all just like besties.
And they all just like lived there because.
No, they didn't. No, she
was always there too.
Yeah, she had her own apartment, but she was always there. And then
I kind of liked her. She seemed like weird. She's like weird and queer. I'm like, you know what? Okay, so
Yeah. Again,
you're super smart.
but my
You
favorites,
cracked the code.
yeah, my favorites were the security people,
Yeah, they
honestly.
were cute.
I was like, I would read that, like, like how authors do
Cat loving
the,
story.
like, royal romance, like 0.5 or something. Like,
yeah.
I would definitely dish money and, like,
I have
get
so
that.
many questions. Like, did they meet before like Alex and Henry? Because if they got engaged, or was it just that they met at the same time as their romance? You know what I mean? And it was just
Gotcha.
that quick.
Royal
It
romance
was
1.5. So, like, what's happening
I
behind the scenes, behind the
I
cabinet,
was I
behind
was
the
reading it like
bureau.
they were already dating before
Pero
Alex.
como? They were in different countries.
Pero they met before. Alex and Henry, they had met before at a couple of different
At the
events and they just
Olympics!
didn't like each other.
Can we talk about that?
What?
That was stupid.
The
Was
What?
what?
this a hate to love book, or was this just like dumbasses?
No, this was not a hate. Okay, in a true hate to love, if that's what we're calling it, um, you have to genuinely like hate. This was not hate. They weren't this was literally just Alex being like,
Pendejo.
Confused.
ay, no me gusta el color de tus ojos y tu camisa está muy brillante y tus
Eres
medias.
muy bonito, vete para la
You're too
mierda.
pretty. Fuck you.
Yeah, no, it was literally him just like looking at petty reasons like, I don't like him because blah blah blah. But it wasn't like you can't hate someone you don't even know. I feel like in the true also I feel like in true like enemies to lover, that's what it's called, right? Enemies to lovers.
No, it can
Not
be
hate.
hate to love. It can.
Okay. I feel like in those books they have to genuinely like the biggest problem of the book is that they're on opposing sides of something, you know? But in this book, there's no real conflict. Like the conflict is that their romance can't like happen, but there's no conflict between, you know what I mean? It's not like England and the United States are going through this like heated battle and they're stuck on opposite side. You know what I mean? Like
Right? That's what
there wasn't actually like anything
if
dividing
this
them.
had taken place, if this was like Hamilton 1.5, and it was like some British soldier and some American soldier fighting, but like also being like they end up at the same like plantation hospital
Write the
that is
story,
now
Vicky, and
neutral
I'll write it.
ground, right? And there's real stakes here. There's no stakes here. You know what I mean? Like,
You gotta write that story. You gotta write
I'm
that
sure
story.
someone's already written it down.
And you know what? I thought there was more potential. Like, okay, I guess they try to set up like the stakes being his mom, his mom's campaign could be like affected or whatever. But like that could happen for a lot of reasons. And we all knew his mom wasn't gonna like kick him out or anything like that, right? So I didn't feel like there were like super stakes. And then on the British side of things, they never really like address the stakes. Like the grandma is a dick, and then she's just
They were saying
continues
that
to
he
be
was
a
gonna
dick.
get cut off. Like with his thing, it was like he could be cut off from the family and like be kicked
But they
out.
just, like tied it up. Es como que de la nada, oh, mom is back, and she's gonna be this like super parenting figure, and we're just gonna ignore grandma who's being like closed-minded, and like that was it. They just
Pero él no sabía que eso iba a pasar. He assumed that his mom was never gonna like snap out of her depression and his grandma, because they're also traditional and stuff, was gonna like kick him out of the family and he would
yeah. But
never
he was
have.
also like, I'll just abdicate the throne, and I have all this money saved up, and
That was funny.
I don't know.
I didn't. I have a bunch of money, like I'm fine.
I don't know.
That was-
I didn't really feel the high stakes.
There,
in this.
there weren't any. I mean, not that I know
I
of.
agree.
Not that I felt, which is why I was like, okay, well then, nothing lost, nothing learned, nothing lost. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, well, but nothing lost, nothing gained. Oh my god, it's like I'm tired. But well, yeah. Wait, I had another question. Well, I had another random question. So, do you think that this book, this is gonna sound stupid, but do you think that this book is too, like, because we only have the point of view of Alejandro, um, is this book, like, too American?
I felt like sometimes this is gonna be stupid, but like sometimes they'd be talking and Henry would say something and I'd be like, "Oh yeah, thanks for reminding me like he's British." But then like other times, but you know what I mean? But then like other times I would forget. I don't know. I just
I thought
but
that,
do you understand what I'm saying?
yes.
Like his speech was sometimes peppered with like Britishisms or whatever, however you
Yeah,
would
and
say
I
it.
think that some people were like a little bit miffy about that too. They were like, "This is really stereotypical," and I'm like, "Okay, as an American, I don't care." Like, I was like, if I didn't give a shit about like a lot of things, like this on bottom of my like pet peeve list. I do not care.
But
Um,
I also don't, yeah, I also don't think it matters because this book is written for an American
America,
audience. What?
where the Mexicans are in the
This
White House.
this is written
Psych, they're only half
for
Mexicans.
all of those Americans who have always swooned at all the tabloids about the princess and wish that they could be Meghan
Oh
Markle,
yeah.
but they were
Mhm.
gay, and now it's like this is my alternate reality
Yeah,
where
I
he
thought.
does marry, you know.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
also thought that Prince.
I agree.
What the heck? I've been calling him Prince Henry, and you guys haven't been
Henry?
correcting me, so.
Yeah,
Isn't that his name?
it's Prince Henry.
Okay, well. The real prince, right, is Prince Harry.
Honey, libro Henry, because
Henry.
they're not the same
No, I know
person.
they're not the same person. Oh my god, Andrea! Um,
Wills and Harry.
so
Yeah, the big
I thought that his like fucking baggage was gonna be like straight up like Princess Diana baggage stuff, but then she kind of like switched it up, or they kind of switched it up and made the dad
Princess
die.
Diana baggage how like
That she made the dad die instead of the mom, so it wasn't.
I
oh,
really think that Prince Henry was shortchanged. He was real flat for me.
he was like too perfect. Él era
And even still,
perfecto.
I rooted for them, those stupid idiots. I was like, oh, yay, I'm so happy they fucking made it. But,
They're like, oh, Henry's always so quiet and reserved, and he's like, I've never seen him this way or so happy. I'm like, is he? Because like, first of all, he seems pretty fine with like everyone. Like, it doesn't seem like he doesn't talk to everyone. It seems like
rich.
he just kind of
He's
is
rich.
fine.
What can I say?
The shy, hello, para eso son los emails.
Guys, I can't. It's a lot.
Okay,
I only really knew him through
I have
I'm.
one more. I have one more question.
Okay. Hit me.
If you were the first daughter or princess or whatever, what would your scandal be?
I wish you'd given me this homework sooner so I could think about it.
I know you like to know the questions sooner, but I didn't have them written sooner, so.
Yeah, talk about To the Wire. Andrea finished this book like an hour ago. Okay, let me think about my scandal.
Drug use. My scandal would be drug use.
My scandal.
You all know that would be my scandal. They'd be like, Princess, first woman or Princess Cheshire was photographed by paparazzo running naked in the woods after consuming some psychedelics.
Behind her as she went.
Just weeping into the river, just covered in mud with her 7 corgis in tow.
Lol. I can see it.
Surviving on cheese in the woods.
Cheese and drugs.
Yeah, cheese and drugs. And
Drug-laced cheese. Drug-laced cheese.
Oh, shit.
Tosh, no! I can't think of my scandal.
I'm just Googling.
I would be the one to like blow the lid on the scandal, I want to think. Like, I would be like,
Home scandal?
no, I would be like, aliens are real. We've been covering it up. Here's the evidence. Release all the documents. Here's the truth.
You would get your parent fired?
I am the parent. I would get myself fired.
I feel like your scandal would be some sort of like rage fueled.
Yeah, either that or my sex tape got out. My sex tape got out.
Like sporting activity.
Yeah, no, it would.
Like you would have been representing America during some like video game thing, and someone would have sent something to you, and you would have like thrown the fucking console at them and like.
First lady is not as cool and calm and collected as she seems.
Watch Christina Channels beat her opponent over the head. Well, let's put this in slow motion. If you see here, you can see the moment she snaps and starts using her mouth to beat the representative from Texas.
Yeah, it would be something like that. I don't know. It probably wouldn't. It wouldn't be a sex tape. It would either be me blowing the lid on the conspiracy or me losing my temper and beating someone up.
Yeah. I'm going to say Andrea's scandal would be protest related.
Yeah, her mugshots would come out.
She would like destroy the farming industry. She would like
she would
use her
truly
resources
dismantle
to free
a system.
animals. And she would somehow destroy like oil and coal. It'd be like D-Day, but it's like the day the earth turned off, and it's like toda la electricidad para, todos los animales se escapan.
Hey guys, don't forget to leave a comment and let me know what your scandal would be. Too old for this shit.
Hashtag only lovers are scandalous.
You know what? Don't say shit. I don't care.
Oh.
Okay. Wait, was that your last question, Drea?
Yeah. And actually, I have our next book right here.
Cool. I was about to.
I haven't read it yet, and it's now overdue at the library, and someone has a hold on it, so I have to return it. So I hope Chris has it and can lend it to me.
Yeah, I can lend it to you. I do have it. So yes. So we're taking. This isn't a romance book. I had romance, but it wasn't a romance.
It had romance in it, and it probably has...
It was problematic.
I read it, and I definitely forgot half of the romances that were started in the first book.
This is the book right when we read this in 2018, the first book, right?
Yeah.
And this was the book that won the... like, which characters would we ship? Which secondary... like, all of us were like, we would... Oh, no, not ship. Which one would we date? And all of us wanted to date the girl character who's not the romance interest here, but we all wanted her to be the romance interest.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That does not follow through.
I know.
Don't.
Tengo muchas opiniones.
Okay, but, like, also...
Muchas opiniones. I was upset. I was upset.
The author of these books is beautiful.
It's so hot.
And I did not realize how much so until I started following her on Instagram. And now I'm noticing that, like, the gray hair and stuff, like, the author rocks that too, but in, like, locks.
Oh, she's really pretty. So yeah, we're reading a sequel, our mandatory sequel of the year. I'm assuming down the line we're gonna read what's the Brooklyn Bruja number 3. But right now we're gonna read.
Oh no, that's not the one I was talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Everybody's hungry. There's no food anywhere.
Sorry,
Vance is coming.
I gotta read Scandal in the spring. I started reading it.
That's right.
Se me fue library loan.
I bought it at the used bookstore. But anyway, so we're gonna be reading Children of
Virtue and Vengeance.
I don't have the book in front of me. So, by Tomi Adeyemi. And it's a sequel to Children of Blood and Bone from now 2 years ago. We're just gonna read it, see what's going on with our favorite necromancer. I don't even know what her powers are. I forgot.
Yeah.
She's
She
like a
can,
fire ghost. There was a ship. Hold on. They were like in a naval battle arena.
she has to drain her own blood to do it.
Yeah, and
Just
then like magic is illegal, but then she's running away with the princess and her brother. And then the prince, who is the brother of the princess, he's like,
Mira,
oh, I
lo
love the main
importante-
character, but I love her so much, I'm gonna free her from this evil magic, so I'm gonna murder her. That's
all
that.
we have to remember is that they like brought back the
They
magic.
brought back the magic. That's right.
And
Thanks.
now we have to see what happens.
I need to
next.
watch like a YouTube like synopsis
I
of it.
know, right? Let's do that.
I'm like, I don't remember.
That's the thing. I had to read like a Spark Notes or something to remember because I completely forgot she had any sort of like hot pirate love interest in the first book.
Wait, who was it?
There's a dude
Yeah.
that in the first book he like helps them
they
escape. or
become
something.
lovers in the second book.
¿Qué?
En el primero she was
No,
like
in el primero they
attracted to
weren't
him.
lovers. He just was like into her and
Gotcha.
was like flirting with her, but she like they never
Pero
did.
when this second book starts, it starts as if they had already like tenían ya un entendido that they were into each other. So I was like, who the fuck is this
Who
guy?
is he,
and
though?
I kept
Is he
trying
like
to
the
like go
Jacob
back.
or the Edward of this relationship?
He's the Jacob.
He's
I
definitely the
don't know what
Jacob.
that means. I never read those
Oh
books.
my god, Andrea.
He's like a bad boy character. But he's not, because there's the brother. There's like what's her face's brother, who's the piece of shit from the first book.
Mhm.
And she and him were like into each other. And then there's another dude. And the thing I didn't remember was that there was ever another dude, because I only remembered
The
what's-her-face
piece of
brother.
shit.
I mean, unless they started seeing each other after the first book ended, and now the second book.
Children of Blood and Bone 1.5. Those are the things that happen.
But por eso te digo que I finished the first book being like, okay, she's into the brother, but he's crazy and it's not gonna work out. But then the second book is like, there's this other dude, and I was like, who the fuck
I remember
is this
I
other
liked
dude?
him. I definitely liked him. I prefer him.
Pero
What we
yo
fighting,
me quedé
y'all?
like, where the fuck did he come from? Because I don't remember him being someone who mattered in the first book, and I was really confused for like the first 6 chapters.
No, porque he's the one who took them to the island where they
Yeah.
did the ritual to like save the world.
Yeah, but I don't
Like,
remember.
por él. Like he helped them fight and like stay alive and get to the island.
But do you remember them being flirty? Because
Yeah, I
don't
remember
remember.
him being super flirty, but her being like, "Ay, pero es que I love this other guy."
What?
But I don't remember
I
any
don't
of
remember
that. And he
any of
becomes,
that.
like,
I just remember the
his
guy who's trying to
character
murder
profile-
her.
But his character profile becomes like way more elevated in the second book, and I didn't expect it because I didn't like.
No, I remember.
It's one of a few things that I'm just like. I read the second book y me quedé bien
But
confundida.
I
Like,
mean,
did I?
he flirted with everyone, not just her.
Por eso también. Because in the
He
book
was
they're
like
like,
that guy in the what was that book? What was that book we read?
the one where they do the opium in the carriage and the other friend's hitting on everyone.
No, that one book where like Chris and I kept reading the series, and we read like 3 more books in the series before we gave up.
Air Awakens.
Yeah, do you remember?
I didn't read
that book.
Yeah, ¿verdad que te
What do you mean
quitaste?
Read it?
I didn't read.
Wait, you didn't read even the first one?
No, just I didn't finish it. I had to tell her what
You
happened.
had book club.
I told her what happened before we started book club.
It was one of those that I like. No pude terminarlo. I didn't have time. I think that's one of like 2 books I've ever not been able to
Okay,
finish in time.
confession time before we go. I've done that. I think I did that with the prostitute ship book. I didn't get to finish it. Into the Black, was it?
No,
Dios
people
mío.
are really shady. I've only ever not finished one book, and I told you about it, and it was because I hated it so much.
Okay,
It was
it's
that
only
fish
been
book.
the one time.
Pero I said I didn't finish it, and I had to like ask. I'm like, I read up until this point. After the fact, I have no idea what happened.
Yeah, and then we finished talking about it. I remember that.
But no, anyway,
None of
in
that
that book, do you remember, Chris? There was like this lord from another
I'm gonna
land
tell
who
you
was
right
like
now, I don't
super
remember anything about that
flirty,
book. Did this and then the one like that.
and you were like, I would have had sex with him
I mean,
instead of
probably.
what?
I'm saying I believe you. I just don't remember.
Sorry.
Okay, well, I feel like we've reached that point of the evening where we've yelled at each other and burped at each other, and now it's time to say goodbye.
Sorry.
No, you're good. I'm excited to read the sequel. I'm excited to remember what happened in the first one and get upset about new things. But also,
Okay, but I'm gonna return this tomorrow, but you can lend me yours.
yeah, I will. Okay, well, thanks for hanging in there, internet. If you did hang in there, we'll see you next month when we read Children of
Virtue
and Vengeance.
Carajo.